Welcome to This Is Our Earth podcast. I am Sylvia Puentes, and I invite you to these amazing conversations that explore the wonder and magic of connecting with our beautiful planet. Inspired by Lugar, the place, originally a book by Gary Douglas, and now being actualized on our Earth as we speak. What can we each be that would create a sustainable living Earth? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of This Is Our Earth, a beautiful podcast that I have the joy to interview, invite, have conversations with people all around the world. And today we have a special guest, someone who's been I would say almost founding member from the very beginning of this incredible project that we have at El Lugar. You've heard me speak about it several different ways through many podcasts. Dr. David Kubes, welcome, welcome.
Hello, Sylvia. Thank you so much for having me on this great show.
And I'm delighted. I have gotten actually to know David a little more through, I'd say in the last year and a half, because we have been contributing to this project in a way together. And it's interesting. I have had many other people on the show, and I'm like, David, I haven't invited you on the show yet. David is the project manager for the El Lugar Eco Resort that we have in Costa Rica. He's also an international attorney. So he is an international attorney for Access Consciousness. So he comes with, I find, some incredible information, but also an incredible journey from the beginning of this project to where he is now. I would say, David, would you say personally and I mean, in so many different ways?
Oh, well, El Lugar was different in every way. I've managed a lot of projects in a lot of different countries for different companies. El Lugar is definitely different.
So one of the questions that I've been asking a lot of people as they've come on, it's like, what has changed for you in the way you look at business, your life, since you began this project to where you are now?
Well, first of all, the project started in a very different way because normally when you do a project that size, I mean, we are not building a hotel, we are building a village in the middle of nowhere. So you have to start from zero, from nothing. There's no infrastructure, there are no qualified workers, there's nothing but rainforest and national parks. And then in a country like Costa Rica, which is super over-regulated, and everything is very bureaucratic. So to start off with, when I did my first research, nobody would ever touch a project before all permissions and finances are in place. The way Lugar started with an idea and nothing else.
So would you say that you came across a lot of people that are like, this isn't possible? Like, this is the dream, a fantasy.
Well, everybody was actually amazed by the project. Oh my God, this is amazing and beautiful. And please be careful. It's Costa Rica. You have to look at this risk. You have to look at that risk. And of course, being a lawyer, being a project manager, I was looking at the risks. But what really changed my mind or blew my mind was when I met Gary Douglas in Costa Rica, and he asked me if I could help him setting up that project. So I met him, and within 2 hours, we had just had, it was a napkin and a pencil. I took some notes, made some, this is the land, this should go here, here, and here, and that was it. And then he said, well, we can start now. And I said, well, it might take a little more than a napkin to actually invite investors. And he was like, well, that's an interesting point of view. 2 months later, we had 8 people investing. I couldn't believe it. So I was actually going, hey guys, do you actually know what you're doing here? And they said, yes, we do. We trust that this will going to happen. And this was like, wow, there are people out there who actually commit to something without having the standard collaterals, security, risk analysis, and so on and so on. And that was actually the point where I said, wow, this project is really different because it attracts different kind of investors, people, construction companies. And this was just the beginning. This was 5 years ago, and it kept going. It just kept going. And what I found out is if there is such a commitment from everyone involved, not happening is just not an option. And obviously people sense it. And the more we were being that, okay, not happening is not an option, it was basically like the project was there already and people could sense it, people committed. And it even, it increased kind of the move on, keep going process. There was just, no matter what roadblock showed up and difficulty and building approval and Satana approval, you name it. I mean, it was a challenge. But at the end, it all went well with the support of everyone, not only investors, lawyers, construction companies, even the ministry, the Setena. At the end, they said, "Hey, that needs to happen, so let's move on."
And that's been beautiful to witness because, like you said, at the beginning, whether people had doubt, the risk, or the time, and all of the logistics, but the ongoing choice year after year after year with these incredible tools and access consciousness, but really being in the question of, okay, what else is possible? That door's shut, what else is possible? Now for you personally, what was that journey like to meet up against things early on, different than I'm sure it is now?
Well, what I really learned was, if a problem occurs, or let's call it the situation that's difficult, if someone says, okay, absolute no, analyzing what went wrong or going, how do I explain it? Just, okay, thank you. What next? Because there is always a way around. So, you know, people always think that when something goes wrong or when a door shuts, you need to analyze. Now we have a problem. Now we need to, I don't know, inform the investors. Now we have a delay. That's just a waste of energy and time. So nothing has to be a problem. There's always a way around, but you have to be willing to look for it, and to be creative. I mean, creativity will always find a way around. There is no problem that cannot be solved. This is what I know now, having done with Lugar for 5 years. And that's the beauty of it, because it adds so much more fun and joy to what you're doing, knowing that, hey, mistakes or problems doesn't really exist. Let's look for a way around. Let's keep moving. There has to be a tomorrow. We just don't know how it will look like.
And I love it because you even said, well, okay, what if we don't actually say it's a problem? It's just a situation that,
Yeah.
whatever the situation is, all right, what's next? So thank you for that. And that, looking at this project of El Lugar and all the changes, I think there's a coined term for the little changes that you talk about that when you go visit and you adjust things, what is it? Changito?
Chinchitos, yes. We created that. I mean, the Costa Ricans are called ticos because they kind of, this ito, they make everything in the Spanish language, the small version. It's just a little bit, yeah. And we just do some little bit of changes. It's actually not changing it, and that's also what is in a regular project. That's a no-go. You need to finalize the plans, and then in every project there's a point of no return, no changes as of now, which I know that now kills most of the beauty that a project could be, because people would rather stick to the plan than being willing to change it. We were very clear with everyone involved. This is creation in process, in progress. So we will need to change. So we were setting up systems to handle change, and we're changing all the time. And people who work with us and for us are not annoyed by changes because they can see the beauty that turns out. Once we change it, it all makes sense. So instead of no changes, Chinese walls to changes because we need to move on, it's this door opener. Hey, there is something way more beautiful available. Why would we miss out on that? Yes, it takes us longer, but this is what we also told the investors. This is not about creating another hotel to make money. This is the creation of something unique that hasn't been there before. So it's not only changes and the construction company following us, it's also the investors who are fine with it. They're not looking into fast money. They're not going, we want our return on this date. They want to be part of the beauty. So I talk to a lot of them. Of course, we update them and then we get their approval. And they always go, wow, it's just being part of that creation is part of their return of investment, which I also learned is, wow, I always thought they just invest because they want a return. They want a future return. I said, no, we want to be part of it. We want to learn from it. We want to be involved. We want to see the beauty rising. So that's actually a very nice environment to work in. It's based on gratitude and kindness, and it moves on. So it's not la la land.
Right. And I get that, when this project first came out 5 years ago, and people started to invest, and like you said, it started on a napkin. So for many people, it was like someday, when, and through all these, all the back end pieces that needed to take place, but to begin to see the infrastructure come to surface now, I'm all like, wow. This morning I saw some beautiful pictures, but the uniqueness, the beauty, the design of every small house, every casita, it's precious. Like that's like it's just precious. Like it has this precious, sweet, kind, nurturing energy to it that with what you're saying, I can get begins to evolve rather than just, okay, we're three different buildings, let's do them cookie cutter style.
It's not about completion. Okay, this project is not about completion. It's about the creation of a unique beauty that the world hasn't seen yet, and you have to give this project time to evolve and to unfold and to develop itself as well. I mean, you know something now, and then a year later you start building. There's so much change going on over a year. So I had to actually, I have to admit, I was doing it the old way, the normal way before. Now, in all the other projects, I inspire people to give that project some space, allow changes to happen. You can put a system in place to manage changes, but saying no to changes kills creativity, beauty, and everything else of the unknown new things that can show up once you allow the project to show it to you.
And I get now more than ever this energy, these possibilities, the willingness to change, adapt, and ask what next is probably, I'd say you're saving, I don't know about saving grace, but it's what's going to actually grow different
Yeah.
companies beyond what they've done in the past or what they think has worked because we are living in different times.
Yes, and I also get it that I was surprised that the investors are so grateful for being part of the development as well. It's there is so much going on out there, and being part of it and seeing it, being informed. It's just they're way more connected to everything, and that they consider that as part of their return of investment, which is beautiful, very new. That doesn't exist in the finance world. Okay, it's just about the money. This is way more than the future dividend that this project will create for the investors. And that's beautiful to see how it contributes in all directions.
Yes, because you've actually created, these systems and communication channels where investors get to see the development. When the tile was selected, I think you had a competition for tile designs where you invited everybody. You did different voiceovers, inviting people to bring in different languages for a video voiceover, where you're not only including the investors, but you're including the world for everyone who desires to contribute and be a part of it in some way, even if they might not be putting in those dollars to invest.
Well, the one way to invest in Lugar is to share what we are doing. The building techniques we are using, it's the kindest way of do construction. And that's one of the main ideas of this project. We want to show the world that building in communion with nature is possible. So Lugar should be a role model in the future. And I had people contacting me, they have similar project ideas, and they asked as well, can we copy that? Would you allow us? And I said, of course, that's what we are here for. So we are not, we have no patent and copyright on what we do. We want that to be a role model. So people should come and copy us. They should kind of look how we are doing it, and we are welcome to share it with the world. That's, as I said, it's way more than just building a hotel. It's an inspiration, especially for investment, hotel industry, and the construction industry to look at different ways to treat our planet.
And that's, for people that are interested in seeing more details, there's a lot of videos on our YouTube channel, and that's LEL dash Lugar, Lugar. But and in the videos that have been shared, that type of construction where you're like, wait a moment, aren't homes usually built on cement? Don't you do this? I mean, El Lugar has this commitment and this
Mhm.
generosity, I'd say, with the earth that I hadn't seen before. Can you
Yes,
speak?
we don't allow the land to be sealed. It causes severe problems. It's a very rainy area, and if you seal the land, you're just it's such an impact on the natural filtration of water. And we have to build on pylons, but the regular way to put concrete pylons in is also unkind to the land. So we came up with screw pylons, and I always say, when you when you compare that to an operation, okay, to cut out part of your skin and body and then put it together again, it hurts. It takes a long time to heal. What we are doing with the screw pylon is like the acupuncture of construction. It's a very gentle way of treating nature and preserving it. And we don't have to make up for the damage done once we build it. We are not causing damage. And
Yeah.
just the idea of screw pylons, there are not a lot of companies who use it because concrete is so common. And we said, hey, use this. It's not even more expensive. It's just different, and it's way kind, and it's so fast. You just come drill it in. Amazing. I was surprised that there is not a big market out there. So with a little luck, after a Lugar is finished, we will see more of this kind of construction out there in the world, and everyone will benefit, including planet Earth and nature.
Which seems to be one of the biggest or the main commitment of El Lugar, that nature really benefits from all of this as well, or
Yes.
receives. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you. What can you share with us about looking at nature, but the wildlife around El Lugar and what El Lugar is contributing to that?
So this Lugar is located in the North Atlantic corridor, which is a very important travel route for birds who go down south in the winter. And due to this cattle breeding, a lot of trees were taken down. Everybody needed grassland, so we hired a gardener who actually looked at what plants attract what kind of animals, not only birds. The whole flora and fauna as it was 100 years ago should be put in place again so that the natural state of this property comes back to life. So we're not looking at, okay, what's the most beautiful flower? We're looking, okay, what tree was there and what tree needs to go in again to actually recreate the flora and the fauna, the natural flora and fauna that was there. And by putting in certain plants, I learned that attract certain birds, that attract certain monkeys, this attract certain snakes, the poison snakes. But I also learned that there are snakes that eat the other snakes. So when nature has this incredible way to take care of itself. So we actually want to provide a space where nature can take care of itself. So instead of poisoning the snakes, no, get the other animals in, they eat the poisonous snakes, and nature handles it. Nature is way more brilliant than we think. You just need to let it go and provide a space where nature can handle itself. And this is what we are doing with all the trees and plants and animals there. Um, just trying to make it as natural as possible, so that, and also a way where tourists can live. Okay, we're not exposing them to poisonous snakes, but they're putting in the other animals that eat them. Well, that's the way to get rid of them.
Yeah. There's also a space, I've been to El Lugar before the major construction began, a, an incredible space of silence that as you go, you have lot one and lot two. Can you speak about lot two there?
Well, the whole property we bought is divided by a river, and the part behind on the other side of the river is lot two, and it's surrounded on all sides by a national park. It's the only building land that was left. And with standard hotel development, you could put like, it's huge, it's 1,000 acres big. You could build up to 4 huge hotels into it. We want to, we turned it into a private national park. So we actually bought the land on the other side of the river, which is the only access to that land. So we own the bridge there. So it's more or less useless for future development. And then with a 100-year lease agreement where the hotel has the exclusive right to use Lot 2, we are protecting it for the next 100 years. And then I put another clause in that if the rent is paid without default, the lease renews for another 100 years.
Beautiful.
So, and I hope that in 200 years from now, mankind finally got that they are guests on planet Earth and should actually honor it rather than destroying it. So for 200 years, we are all set now. And I hope that someone else will continue that, because I won't be here by then.
And thank you for that, because this is where really like the choices we're making today, what it'll create for the future, whether
Yes.
you're here or not, but to actually know that something from the choice you made today will contribute to someone, maybe even questioning, why would they have done this? Why would they have put a clause for 100 years? Well, maybe it'll create the question. And like you said, maybe they'll be more aware of the gifts of the land.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, David, because you have been this tireless voice and mover for this project that many people have gotten to know, and maybe a lot of people don't know. But is there anything else you'd like to share with the listeners?
Well, I think no matter how much you listen or talk about it, you'll get the uniqueness and beauty once you're there. So if you ever have a chance or are near or in Costa Rica, come by. Okay, it's not a closed construction site. People can come and visit and just walk around. And they, first of all, they won't notice that it's a construction site because we take care of the land while we are in construction. And it's just beautiful to be there, to see it, to perceive it, and to enjoy this, the silence, the beauty, and see what we are doing. We want this to inspire other project developers, other hotel guests, whoever, everybody who sees it will take something unique with them. And if they spread that out, we did a good job. That's the idea. So to really get a sense of the beauty of Lugar, just come and visit.
So you're all invited. Come to Lugar. Take a moment in your day, your week, and come and visit this beautiful land and receive. So thank you so much, David. Look forward to seeing you soon. And thank
Thank you,
you.
Sylvia.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this show. My target is to inspire new actions and conversations that empower us all to know that we are the ones creating the future. If you'd like a way to contribute to our podcast, please leave a review wherever you listen. And for information about Lugar, visit l-lugar.com. Thank you.